Every morning, before your eyes are fully open, your heart is already being pulled by fear, by worry, by desire, by the world. And if you don't take control of that first moment, everything else will control you. So ask yourself honestly, what are the first words your soul hears when you wake up? Complaints, stress, negativity, or a call to Allah that realigns your entire day? Today I want to show you 5 simple words. Just 5 that can calm your heart, sharpen your purpose, and reshape the way you walk through the world. If you begin your morning with these words, nothing and no one will have power over you except the one who created you. Let's begin. My dear brothers and sisters, let me begin by reminding you of something we often overlook. Every morning your heart wakes up before your body does. There is a moment, sometimes only a few seconds, where your soul is completely uncovered. It is not busy yet. It is not distracted yet. It is not pulled in 10 different directions yet. And whatever you allow into that moment becomes the foundation of your day. Most people let the world enter first. Messages, stress, notifications, unfinished tasks, fear of what is coming. And once those thoughts enter, they shape everything. Your mood, your decisions, your worship, your patience, your reactions. That is why spiritual discipline begins at the very start of the day. If you do not guide that first moment, that moment will guide you. And usually, it will not guide you toward Allah. So the first of the 5 words is, Ya Allah, guide me. These are not just words, they are an admission. You are saying, Ya Allah, I cannot see what is hidden from me. I cannot predict what will test me today. I do not know which step is good for me and which step will harm me. I do not trust my knowledge more than I trust yours. And that humility is the beginning of wisdom. When you say, Ya Allah, guide me, you are actively choosing not to rely on your own plans. You are choosing not to let your desires lead you. You are choosing not to let fear dictate your choices. You are acknowledging that Allah sees the full picture while you see only a fragment. He knows what your heart needs. He knows the people you should meet, the decisions you should make, the opportunities you should avoid, and the paths you should walk. Guidance from Allah is not only about religious matters, it is guidance in your emotional life, your relationships, your career, your health, your decisions, your reactions, and even your silence. You are asking for the ability to recognize what is right when it appears, and the strength to turn away from what is wrong, even when it looks attractive. And let me be very clear, asking Allah for guidance is not weakness. Weakness is pretending you can survive the day on your own. Weakness is depending on people more than you depend on Allah. Weakness is starting your day with everything except the one who controls every breath you take. True strength is understanding your need for Allah. True intelligence is seeking His direction before you take a single step. When you begin your day with Ya Allah, guide me, you are placing your trust in the only one who never misleads. You are telling your heart, I will not walk blind when the light of my Lord is available. I will not allow my emotions to govern me when Allah's wisdom is far greater. I will not let the world write my story when Allah has the perfect script already written. A person who begins their morning with this dua walks through the day with confidence, not confidence in themselves, but confidence in Allah. And that kind of confidence never collapses. My dear brothers and sisters, guidance alone is not enough. You can know exactly what is right and still fail to do it. You can recognize the truth and still hesitate. You can understand what Allah wants from you and still find yourself too weak, too tired, or too distracted to follow it. That is why the second word you begin your morning with must be, Ya Allah, strengthen me. Because every single day you wake up to battles that no one sees. The world sees your smile, your routine, your responsibilities, but Allah sees what is happening inside your heart. He sees the heaviness you carry. He sees the thoughts you fight. He sees how much effort it takes just to stay patient, kind, focused, disciplined, and sincere. So when you say, Ya Allah, strengthen me, you are acknowledging a truth we often avoid. You cannot rely on your own strength. Your emotions change, your energy changes, your motivation changes, your willpower changes. but Allah's strength never changes. And when He gives strength to the heart, no trial can break it. Strength is not only the ability to lift heavy burdens, strength is the ability to lift yourself after you fall. Strength is the ability to do what is right, even when your nafs is pulling you in another direction. Strength is the courage to say no when everything inside you wants to say yes. Strength is walking away from what harms your soul, even when it feels easier to stay. Strength is responding with patience when anger is demanding to speak. Strength is holding on to your prayers when laziness whispers excuses. Strength is guarding your tongue when the opportunity to backbite appears. Strength is choosing Allah over your own comfort. And remember this, Shaitan does not need you to be ignorant, he just needs you to be weak. He knows that a believer who is weak will delay, will forget, will excuse, will surrender. So the intelligent believer asks Allah every morning for strength. Strength to obey, strength to resist, strength to persevere, strength to stay firm. When you say, Ya Allah, strengthen me, you are not only asking for physical ability, you are asking for emotional resilience, mental clarity, spiritual stability, and moral firmness. You are asking Allah to support you when your heart becomes tired, when your intentions become blurry, when your patience runs low, when temptation appears at your weakest moment. And Allah, in His mercy, gives strength in ways you don't expect. Sometimes He strengthens your heart through a verse you read, sometimes through a reminder someone says, sometimes through a difficulty that forces you to grow, sometimes through silence, sometimes through a door closing that you didn't understand at the time. Allah strengthens you by shaping your soul, not by making life easier, but by making you stronger within it. The believer who sincerely says, Ya Allah, strengthen me, does not walk into the day afraid of what it holds. They know that whatever comes, Allah will equip them to handle it. And strength from Allah is different from any strength you try to create on your own. Your own strength exhausts you. Allah's strength uplifts you. Begin your day with this. Because a guided heart without strength collapses. But a guided heart strengthened by Allah can face anything this world brings. My dear brothers and sisters, the third word you begin your day with must be, Ya Allah, protect me. And I want you to truly reflect on this, because most people walk through life with a confidence that is not real. They assume that because they feel fine, because their plans look organized, because nothing seems wrong, they are safe. But safety is not what you see, it is what Allah shields you from without you ever knowing. Every morning when you wake up, you enter a world filled with things your eyes cannot detect. Harm that travels quietly, jealousy that hides behind a kind face, words that appear gentle but carry poison, temptations that begin small but end in destruction, whispers from Shaitan that aim not to ruin your day but to ruin your heart inch by inch. You do not see these dangers, but Allah does. And without His protection, even the strongest person becomes vulnerable. So when you say, Ya Allah, protect me, you are admitting a truth. You are not in control of the unseen. You cannot control people's intentions. You cannot control accidents. You cannot control spiritual influences. You cannot control what is whispered to your heart. Protection is not something you achieve, it is something Allah grants. And His protection is perfect. When Allah protects you, nothing can reach you unless He allows it for a wisdom greater than what you understand. Protection comes in many forms. Sometimes Allah protects you by removing a person from your life, even if you were attached to them. Sometimes He protects you by delaying something you desperately wanted. Sometimes He protects you by making you uncomfortable in a situation you should not stay in. Sometimes He protects you by closing a door completely, even when you cried for it to open. You may see disappointment, but Allah sees danger you cannot see. Protection also means guarding you from yourself, from your impatience, from your anger, from your weaknesses, from your ego, from your desires that could pull you far from Allah if they were left unchecked. Because sometimes the biggest threat you face is not outside you, it's inside you. When you say, Ya Allah, protect me, you are asking Allah to place a barrier between you and anything that harms your dunya or your akhirah. You are asking Him to protect your tongue from speaking what ruins your relationships. Protect your eyes from what corrupts your heart. Protect your thoughts from negativity. Protect your time from wasting it. Protect your faith from weakening. Protect your intentions from being contaminated by pride or showing off. And protect your soul from anything that makes you forget Him. A heart protected by Allah becomes difficult to influence, difficult to manipulate, difficult to tempt, difficult to break. And that is real freedom, not the kind the world promises, but the kind only Allah gives. My dear brothers and sisters, without protection, a believer becomes exposed. With Allah's protection, a believer becomes untouchable, not because life becomes easier, but because Allah guards your heart while you move through it. Start your morning with this word and walk through your day knowing that the Most Merciful is placing His shield around you in ways you will never fully comprehend. My dear brothers and sisters, the fourth word of your morning is one most people rush through without understanding its weight. Ya Allah, forgive me. Many people say these words casually, almost automatically, without allowing their hearts to feel them. But forgiveness is not a small request. It is a moment where your heart kneels before Allah, even if your body is still standing. It is a moment of honesty, a moment of humility, a moment where you finally stop pretending that yesterday was perfect. Because let us be honest with ourselves. Every day we make mistakes. Some are obvious, some are hidden, some you immediately regret, and some you don't even notice until much later. And some, if you do not face them, begin to harden your heart without you realizing it. The danger is not the mistake itself. The danger is waking up every day, ignoring it as if your soul does not need cleansing. So when you say, Ya Allah, forgive me, you are not reciting a phrase, you are acknowledging your humanity. You are admitting your limitations. You are declaring that you are a servant who has stumbled and that you do not want to carry the dust of yesterday into the purity of a new morning. Forgiveness is the heart's soap. Without it, the stains of one day become the heaviness of the next day. And eventually the heart becomes less sensitive, less soft, less aware. It becomes harder to cry, harder to feel guilt, harder to make sincere dua, harder to connect with Allah in salah, harder to return to worship with joy. A heart that does not seek forgiveness becomes spiritually numb, alive, physically, but asleep internally. This is why the Prophet ﷺ was sinless, sought forgiveness more than 70 times a day, not because he was guilty, but because forgiveness purifies the soul, and he wanted to teach us what a clean heart looks like. If the most perfect human being asked for Allah's forgiveness constantly, then how can we, with our flaws and shortcomings, start a day without it? My dear brothers and sisters, when you say, Ya Allah, forgive me, you are doing several things at once. You are acknowledging that you fell short yesterday. Maybe you prayed without focus. Maybe you delayed your salah. Maybe you raised your voice unnecessarily. Maybe you hurt someone with your words. Maybe you allowed negative thoughts to spread inside you. Maybe you wasted time. Maybe you looked at something you shouldn't have. Maybe you were ungrateful. Maybe you forgot Allah when He never forgets you. You are also declaring that you want to repair your relationship with Allah. Because sin does not break your relationship, but it does place distance between you and Allah. Forgiveness removes that distance. It brings you back. It reopens the door you closed with your own actions. When you seek forgiveness sincerely, Allah does not just erase your mistake. He brings you closer than you were before you sinned. And this is one of the greatest mercies of Allah. You do not need to be perfect to be accepted. You need to be honest. You need to be humble. You need to return. No matter how many times you fall, as long as you return to Allah, the door of forgiveness remains open. Forgiveness also teaches you humility. When you start your morning admitting your imperfections, you automatically become softer with others. You stop expecting perfection from people when you know you yourself are not perfect. You become more patient, more understanding, more compassionate. A forgiven heart is a gentle heart. And let me tell you something important. When Allah forgives you, He does not shame you with your past. People remember your mistakes. People hold on to them. People bring them up. But Allah forgives in a way that heals, not hurts. When He forgives, He turns the page. He covers your flaws. He protects your honor. He removes the burden from your soul. And He allows you to walk through the day with a clean slate, a lighter chest, and a clearer mind. Some of you might say, but my mistakes are too big. My habits are too deep. My past is too heavy. And my response is simple. You are underestimating the mercy of the one who created mercy itself. Allah forgave prophets, forgave nations, forgave sinners who turned back after decades of disobedience. What makes you think your sins are beyond His mercy? When you begin your day with Ya Allah, forgive me, you are saying, Ya Allah, do not let my yesterday block my today. Do not let my errors follow me into the new hours you have given me. Do not let my heart carry stains that I am too weak to clean on my own. This prayer frees you. It untangles the knots in your chest. It refreshes your soul. It allows you to walk into your day with purity, humility, and hope. A forgiven heart prays differently, speaks differently, chooses differently, lives differently. My dear brothers and sisters, start your morning with forgiveness. Not because you are terrible, but because you are human. Not because Allah needs it, but because you need it. A day that begins with forgiveness becomes a day where Allah's mercy surrounds you, comforts you, strengthens you, and guides your every step. My dear brothers and sisters, the final word you begin your morning with is perhaps the most profound of all. Ya Allah, accept me. I want you to pause and truly understand the weight of this, because you can live your entire day doing good, praying, reciting, helping, giving, speaking kindly, and still walk away with nothing if Allah does not accept it. Acceptance is the difference between action that elevates you and action that simply fills time. Acceptance is the difference between worship that transforms your heart and worship that becomes routine. Acceptance is the difference between charity that becomes a mountain of reward and charity that disappears into the wind. So when you say, Ya Allah, accept me, you are asking for something far more valuable than success, praise, progress, or recognition. You are asking Allah to take your efforts, no matter how small, no matter how imperfect, and turn them into something that brings you closer to Him. Because the truth is, my dear brothers and sisters, not every prayer is accepted. Not every fast is accepted. Not every act of kindness is accepted. And it is not the size of the deed that determines acceptance. It is the sincerity of the heart behind it. You can pray a long prayer, but your heart is empty. You can give charity, but your intention is polluted by pride. You can speak beautifully, but your ego is seeking approval. You can help someone, but hope they remember your name. You can do everything right on the outside, while the inside is seeking something other than Allah. This is why you ask, Ya Allah, accept me. Accept my heart before my actions. Accept my sincerity before my words. Accept my intention even when my execution is flawed. Accept my effort even when it is small. Accept my return even when it is late. Accept me as your servant, even when I fall short again and again. Acceptance is a sign of Allah's love. When Allah accepts you, He opens doors that you cannot explain. He places blessing in your life, in your time, in your health, in your relationships, in your worship. He gives you clarity when others are confused. He gives you peace when others are anxious. He gives you tawfiq, divine enablement meaning. He makes the path of obedience easier for you. You feel pulled toward goodness, not forced. You feel drawn to prayer, not obligated. You feel a sweetness in worship, not burden. This is acceptance. And do not underestimate how desperately you need it. Because you can spend an entire lifetime doing good deeds and still find on the day of judgment that you gained nothing from them if Allah did not accept them. The companions used to say, if I knew that Allah accepted even one of my deeds, I would rely upon it. Why? Because acceptance means Allah looked at your heart with mercy. So when you wake up each morning and say, Ya Allah, accept me, you are asking Allah to purify your intention before the world distracts you. You are reminding yourself that you do not live for people's approval. You do not seek compliments. You do not chase reputation. You do not perform for an audience. You do not worship for recognition. You do not do good so that others say, MashaAllah. You do it for Allah and Allah alone. A believer who seeks acceptance becomes free from people. Their work becomes lighter, their heart becomes cleaner, their worship becomes deeper, their intentions become purer, and their life becomes meaningful even if it is quiet, even if it is unseen, even if no one applauds. My dear brothers and sisters, acceptance also protects you from arrogance. When you ask Allah to accept you, you are acknowledging that your actions are not guaranteed value. You are reminding yourself, it is not my effort that elevates me. It is Allah's acceptance. This humility keeps you grounded. It protects you from pride, from showing off, from boasting, from comparing yourself to others. It reminds you that the only one whose opinion matters is Allah. And I want you to understand one more thing. Sometimes Allah accepts you in hidden ways. You may not feel spiritual highs. You may not feel emotional surges. You may not cry during prayer. But Allah may still accept your worship because your sincerity is strong even if your emotions are quiet. Do not underestimate the value of a small deed done with a pure heart. So when you say, Ya Allah, accept me, you are asking Allah for the greatest gift you can ever receive in this world and the next. Because if Allah accepts you, it does not matter who rejects you. And if Allah rejects a deed, it does not matter who praises it. Begin your morning with this word, and you will walk through your day differently, with purpose, with sincerity, with clarity, and with a heart that knows exactly why it exists. My dear brothers and sisters, this is the completion of your 5 words. Guide me, strengthen me, protect me, forgive me, accept me. A heart that starts its morning with these words does not walk into the day alone. My dear brothers and sisters, if you take one thing from today's reminder, let it be this. Your day does not begin when you get out of bed, it begins when your heart turns to Allah. These 5 words are not poetry, they are not inspiration, they are a roadmap. A believer who starts the morning with guidance, strength, protection, forgiveness, and acceptance is a believer who refuses to walk through life empty. Most people wake up and let the world decide their mood. You are choosing something better. You are choosing Allah before anything else. And when Allah is first, everything else falls into its proper place. Hardships become lighter. Decisions become clearer. Temptations lose their pull. Fear loses its voice. Your heart becomes anchored instead of scattered. So tomorrow morning, before the rush begins, before your thoughts run ahead of you, pause. Place your hand on your heart if you need to. Breathe and say, Ya Allah, guide me. Ya Allah, strengthen me. Ya Allah, protect me. Ya Allah, forgive me. Ya Allah, accept me. Say it with sincerity. Say it with humility. Say it knowing that Allah hears every whisper and responds in ways you may never see but will always feel. If you live your mornings like this, you will live your days with clarity and your life with purpose. And a life lived with purpose for Allah is a life that ends in His mercy, His nearness, and His eternal acceptance. May Allah make these 5 words the anchor of your heart and the light of your mornings today and every day.